Hello, happy Saturday and happy Taurus full moon. I just finished up my meditation and some work that I was doing, and I decided that I would go ahead and pull some cards. I don't want to pull cards for people. Today I feel more called to just pull some collective messages for everyone, so that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to just turn this around, show you guys what I have going on today. So I was doing my full moon grid, and I don't know if it's just because I did so much work this week for the Day of the Dead and Samhain with my ancestors, but I still just am feeling super connected with them. So a lot of the work that I'm doing right now is still very much ancestor related. And so I was trying to decide what crystals I wanted to use for my grid. And so I decided to use my Judy Hall crystal deck, and I just decided to shuffle the deck to try to see what crystals I would be called to use. Of course, there are some that are known for being really good for working with ancestors and things, but as I started to pull the cards, there were some that came right out that are just crystals that I don't have access to yet. Like, for instance, this one, which I'm pretty sure it's pronounced ajote. I think the J is silent like Spanish. So I don't have this crystal. And so I just went ahead and pulled all the cards that I needed. And then I decided, you know what? This could be a really good opportunity for learning for my followers, because for one thing, when you have access, or if you decide to ever get a deck like Judy Hall's crystal deck, and I know there are a few other ones, I can't think of the authors right now, but you're able to use these cards the same exact way that you would be able to use the actual crystal. And that's really nice to know, because there are a lot of crystals out there, and I have a lot of crystals, but there's still a lot out that I don't have access to. For instance, I really want to get a Sugilite, which I don't have yet. Brandenburg amethyst. Anyway, they're just some that I'm just, hopefully eventually I will have them, but as of now I don't. And so you're able to use these cards in the exact same way that you would for a crystal grid, or even as a crystal healing tool. Secondly, you can use clear quartz, and you can, this is actually clear quartz master healer, and it's got sacred geometry on all sides of it. But you can use clear quartz, any piece of clear quartz. It doesn't need to be a master healer sphere like this, but you can hold it and you can imprint it with the intention of any crystal that you would want to use. So for instance, let's say that I had pulled these crystal cards that I wanted to use, and let's say, for instance, I didn't have access to, what is this one called? Eye of the Storm, which actually I don't. I can hold my crystal sphere and I can imprint the energy of Eye of the Storm into my crystal sphere. So as I started to pull these cards, there were several that I didn't have. Now, I do have peridot, I do have amethyst, I do have shivalingam, and I do have smoky quartz. So, but rather than have some cards on the grid and some crystals, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do all cards, and then I'm going to use the clear quartz master healer in the middle. But I'll go ahead and show you guys my grid that I'm using for this. It's a beautiful Metatron's cube with the platonic solids in each position. And then what's super cool about this grid is that if you flip it around, it's got my favorite deity, Ganesh, on the other side. So I just absolutely love this grid. But for today, I'm going to be using the Metatron's cube. So we have that there. I pulled the cards in order, so they go where they were pulled. Oh, shoot. I just moved it when I put the grid down. Gosh dang it. Shoot. Crap. Oh, well. they'll still all be on there. So sometimes you just got to go with it, right? I'm pretty sure I'm not putting it back in the same order now. Shivlingam. Okay. And then the Master Healer, which I'm going to put the Flower of Life facing up. So that one is the Flower of Life right there in the middle. Then it is the full moon is in Taurus. So I've got the Taurus energy card here. On full moons, you're going to be working with the full light of the moon. So I've got a white candle burning, or you could use yellow. I've got a seashell here just for part of the elements to be pulled in. I've got a brand new beautiful piece of bismuth here that I felt compelled to put on the board, and then some new pieces of, gosh, now I'm not going to remember. I want to say serpentine, but it's not. I'll have to look these up for you guys. I just barely got these. These are the same, even though this one looks mostly black, but it's the same as this. It does start with an S. Seraphinite? Is that a crystal? Okay, so anyway, that's what I have set up. And I decided to go live on YouTube today because I don't have as many people that follow me on YouTube. So I want to be able to record this, but I also didn't want to be bombarded with people that wanted readings. I try to give you guys readings as often as I feel I can, or I'm called to. But like I said, for today, I just kind of want to do a collective reading. And so I know that people will want to watch it on the replay, and then I'll upload this onto my Rhiannon Rambles Facebook page. But in my diffuser here, I've got cedarwood, black pepper, Douglas fir, and juniper berry. So just a lot of really grounding, earthy blends, because Taurus is an earth sign, fellow earth sign like me. I'm a Capricorn, also an earth sign. My best friend Jody's a Taurus, and so I just wanted to pull in a lot of earth elements. So excuse me, I am going to just go ahead and start shuffling and pulling cards to see what the collective oneness or ancestors or God, or however you want to look at it, wants us to know. I have been working a lot recently with this deck, and it happens to be the Earth Magic deck. So again, working with the earth energies of Taurus, I am going to pull from this deck. So I've already called in my spirits and ancestors, and already done my meditation, lit my sage, etc., etc. So I just want to have some cards for what we need to know during this full moon of Taurus in November 2017, and the weeks coming up into the new moon. Oh, we just had a big pile come out, so let's see. Looking for cards to represent the energy of the Taurus full moon, November 2017, and the next 2 weeks going into the new moon. What do we need to know about this? Okay, there we go. So the first card that came out was Milky Way, and it was actually upside down. And the energy of the Milky Way card is perspective. So interesting, this whole year, anytime I have done a reading for the collective, I've had cards similar to this one come up. Now, I just got this deck, so it wasn't the Earth Magic deck, but before I was getting the perception card coming up a lot, which is part of my chakra deck. But perception and perspective are kind of the same thing. It's how you're choosing to look at things. And the image here depicted is of the universe, of the Milky Way, right? Which is if you think about it, it's like the all-knowing, right? It's everything else. And so I would say that it would be important to, going forward in these next couple of weeks, keep your perspective that of universal energy, not of your own opinion or your own selfish needs or selfish opinions or wants, but that of the world and the universe, the greater good. Okay, what if you're having a feeling strongly about something, how is that connected to everything rather than just yourself? Okay, so we're just going to put that again as we start to pull more cards, that we might, you know, get a little bit more clarity as to the importance of that card. But that's the first card that came up. Oh, one just flipped over. Let's find it. There it is. Okay, another upside down card, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure now that I think about it, the last time I did a collective reading was sometime in the late summer when we were just going into Mercury retrograde. And for those that don't know, we're just getting ready to go into Mercury retrograde again. And I think we're like about a week or so out, but I'm already feeling the effects and seeing the effects. So we are in the pre-shadow of it. And last time I did the collective reading during and right before Mercury retrograde, all the cards were upside down that time too. So this card was actually upside down. I just turned it right side up. This is the Green Man card, and the energy of this card is synergy. Okay, so if you think about the Milky Way being all that is, even though I know there are other galaxies out there, but our galaxy is the Milky Way, and synergy, right, is when things are synced up, right? We're in synergy. Haven't ever gotten this card before. It's being in your flow, being in the flow of things. Although this card was upside down and so was this one. So again, going into Mercury retrograde is a time where, and I didn't really want to focus on that because I did want this to be more of the full moon, but it seems to want to be talked about and be coming up. So I'm just going to keep pulling. I'm not really feeling a lot about that one right now, so let's see. Sorry, my dog's out there trying to get his ball. I swear every time I'm on any video or anything, my dog's out there making a fuss. Okay, I just got a big grouping come out, so let's see what we get. Okay. This one flew out. It wasn't right side up, but it was sideways, which is the Ocean card, which is ebb and flow. Okay, and I think that's a good card to have actually sideways. It's not upside down or right side up, it's sideways, meaning it can go either way. And ebb and flow is exactly that energy, right? Things come and go, good and bad, happy and sad. Ebb and flow in the ocean are kind of representative of, you know, the paradigm, the shifting pendulum, right? Coming in and out. So that was a sideways position, meaning that we basically have the opportunity to choose which way that is, okay? Which is good. So far, all of these cards that are coming through are pretty much the higher energy of things. So I'm looking for some cards to be more specific as to what we should be working on during this full moon energy, right before we get into the next Mercury retrograde. Ooh, that one. Did you guys see that fly out? Okay. Iceberg, and the energy is submerged. So you guys heard the question that I asked. Just asked, what specifically can we be working on? So we need to be working on the things that we push down, the feelings that we don't like to deal with. Okay, we like to show the surface of the iceberg, Gus, but we don't like to show people what's underneath. But whether we want to deal with those feelings that we're shoving down or not doesn't mean that they're not still there needing to be dealt with. And what happens when we don't is that they sink the Titanic, right? The iceberg is a danger because everything that's below the surface is the most dangerous part. It's the bigger, more dangerous part than the part that's showing, okay? So that's what you need to be working on. Digging up the old wounds, clearing things out. And again, during the full moon is the perfect time to be purging those kind of energies anyway, okay? Also, Well, let's see. No, I don't think that was a card. Let's keep shuffling. Okay. Looking for some more cards that are representative of the work that needs to be done by us during this next weeks with the full moon energy for release and purging before Mercury retrograde. Got one there. Oh, ha! That's the card I just barely put back in that I was like, no, that's not the card. And then it's the same card. So this card wanted to come out. So this is the rainbow card, which is the blessings card. Okay. So basically it's where it's coming up right after the iceberg card. It's saying that if we're willing to dig deep, we're willing to kind of deal with some of the shit that we've buried down, there will be blessings. Okay. So even though it's hard, you'll be rewarded with blessings if you release some of this stuff. Okay. So I'm starting to feel like we might have enough from this deck. You know, I love this deck. I might grab another deck to work with real quick. And let's just see what we get. Okay, now that I just grabbed it, I'm going to give it one more chance for one more card. Let's just see what we get. All right. Okay. And we just got the forest card, which is the energy to just breathe. Okay. Just be out in nature and just breathe and meditate. Okay. So it's a time. Let me look at everything back together now that I've pulled. Coming back to the Milky Way and the Synergy cards that were the first cards I pulled that were upside down, it might be a time of misunderstandings and things feeling like they're out of sync, right? Because the Synergy is off. We're in the pre-shadow of the Mercury retrograde. The universe seems upside down. Everything seems backwards as it does in a Mercury retrograde. Okay, these were the upside down cards. But don't worry, it's going to come and it's going to go, as every other Mercury retrograde in the past has done. The feelings, the arguments, if there are any, the communication breakdowns, if there are any, they will come and they will go. So instead of worrying about things that are coming at you on a surface level, dig deeper down into your soul and the things that you need to be working on. And maybe if you're down here working in this deep work, you won't be worried about the superficial stuff that you would normally find yourself interacting with during a Mercury retrograde. Okay, if you're here, you don't care about the miscommunication at the grocery store. You don't care about your computer glitching out or your phone glitching out, because you're in here diving deep. Okay, and if you do that, there will be blessings and you'll be able to breathe again. It's going to lift that burden and it'll be a breath of fresh air. Okay. So I feel like that's everything we're going to get out of this deck. And I think it's a pretty well-rounded reading, in my opinion. So it's not what I expected to get, because again, I'm feeling really pulled and called at this time to be doing ancestral work, but maybe that's just my calling and not the collective, because I really don't see that being reflected in the cards that I pulled for you guys. Although doing deep iceberg level work is going to be family and ancestral stuff. If it's that deep down, it's going to be coming from a place deeper than your surface level life, right? So I'm just kind of looking around to see if there's another deck that's calling for me to pull any cards for you guys. I do have the Ascended Masters deck out because I was actually doing a I do custom, I don't know what you'd want to call it, prayer or invocation. If there's a specific wound that you're trying to heal, what I will do is I will do a meditation, and I will work on finding out exactly what ascended masters, what energy, what angels, what crystals, etc. you should be using for that work. And then I write it all up and I will send it to you. So if that's something you're interested in, you can let me know. But anyway, I was doing that before I got on here. So I do have my ascended masters deck out and it is looking at me. So maybe I'll just call a couple or pull a couple of the ascended master cards, and that will let you know the people or the energies that you can call upon to work on the this during these next couple weeks, because this is the homework assignment. Okay, this is what you're supposed to be working on. So let's see who you can call upon, who's ready to be helping us with this energy of the iceberg, the submerged. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, hold on. This one for sure, but then I got a whole pile that I need to weed out. So let's see. Okay. Okay. All right, so I got 2 cards. Okay, so firstly we have Kuan Yin, which is the energy of let it go, which is exactly what you need to do with this really heavy, deep, hidden wound, right? You need to dig it up, you need to recognize it, and then you need to let it go. So you can call on Kuan Yin to assist you in that process, okay? And then the second one was Moses, which is to take charge of the situation. Okay, and by you choosing to dig up that wound and to let it go and to take a breath and allow the blessings in, that is you taking charge of the situation. When we, the opposite of that would just be to go into the next, couple weeks and into the next Mercury retrograde of not being in your power and just letting everything happen to you at random. That's not being in charge of the situation at all, okay? So I think those are really good cards. We'll give it one more shuffle and just see what else. If there's one last energy or ascended master that wants to come forth at this time, please do so. If there's any last tidbits of information that we need to know about the upcoming weeks of November, coming into, oh, there we go. Cool, it's Hina, which is freedom. Okay, so that was a lot of energy cards, but I feel like we'll just recap again, okay? So going into the next couple weeks and the next Mercury retrograde, you're going to feel out of sorts. Energy is going to be off. Your perception is going to be backwards. You need to make sure that you're not just letting these things happen to you this way. You need to make sure that you're ready to turn them around so that you're in control of the situation. Okay, so that you take control. I'm going to put Kuan Yin over here because remember, like the waves of an ocean, it comes and goes. Don't get attached to anything. Let it go. Even if it's anger, frustration, don't get attached to it. It comes and goes. Let it go. If you're able to do that, there will be blessings. You'll be able to breathe easy. You'll be in a place of beautiful ease like the forest. And ultimately, it creates more freedom for you, okay? So that is my full moon message for today, November 4th, Taurus full moon. I hope you guys will take a moment, sit down, take a couple breaths. Also, again, I didn't do this on camera, but like I said, I did my meditation already. I wrote down the things that I'm ready to release. I know I talk about this a lot, but the full moon is a great time to release things that no longer serve you, where the new moon is a good time to create new things. And so during this full moon, let go. And let Kuan Yin help you let go and dig deep. You don't have to wait this wasn't supposed to be a Mercury retrograde reading, but somehow it still decided to come in. But you don't have to wait till Mercury goes retrograde to start digging deep into that iceberg, okay? So leave me any messages. I appreciate your guys' support. Give it a thumbs up. Give me a comment, etc., etc. Feel free to share. And I probably will be back to do a full reading for the Mercury retrograde here in about a week and a half. So until next time, bye.